Avatar: The Way of Water is coming out, and I am pumped. You know, like water is pumped. Whatever. Here's a bunch of tiny details you might have missed in 2009's Avatar. If you haven't watched James Cameron's oft-lampooned 2009 box office Goliath Avatar in a while, and let's be honest, most people haven't since like 2009, you may have forgotten the opening shot. Our protagonist, Jake Sully, doused in blue light in his cryo tube on the way to Pandora. This is a pretty direct reference to where he'll end up in the film, in a new blue body. There's quite a few allusions to his final state as a full-on Na'vi throughout the film. For example, he has the line, "One life ends, another begins," during his opening narration while watching his brother being cremated. Not only does this allude to his mind being permanently placed in his avatar, but it also sorta alludes to the destruction of the Hometree. Both Jake's brother and the Hometree are burned, and both these actions are steps toward our characters moving forward with a new life, taking tragedy and using it, recycling tragedy. There we go, that's the environmentalist message. Oh, also, Jake is the first warrior to have an avatar, and so his mind is considered more empty than the scientists, more easily molded in the Na'vi way of life, hence his being chosen to learn their ways by Neytiri's mother, Moat. I think that's how you say the name. It's been a second. Actually, this might just be me overthinking everything. Yeah. Here's one that's straight up just a pet peeve of mine, Unobtanium. It's a silly name. You know this, I know this, but what some people don't realize is that it's also not unique to this film. See, the term unobtanium was originally used by aerospace engineers and other professionals to describe a material that would be perfect in a given situation, but is either near impossible to obtain or straight up doesn't exist. Say a form of aluminum that's lighter than air, or I don't know, a bulletproof Hershey's Kiss wrapper. I'm not an engineer, I'm just a fat person. Since its first use in the 1950s, it's gone on to denote just about any material that exists but is difficult to, again, obtain, hence unobtanium. Look, it's still stupid, but it's a stupid that has basis in reality. If anything, this historic use lends more credence to Cameron's using it in Avatar, since other companies have used the term to describe proprietary materials. Unobtanium was even previously used in another film. It's the metal used to create the hull of the ship the Virgil in 2003's The Core. You remember The Core? One of the great milestones in cinema, The Core. Have you ever noticed that the Na'vi don't have eyebrows, but the avatars do? I mean, they're not, they have like the slight, like their little lines on their face. It's like a cat's face where it's like, oh, little eyebrows, but they're not really eyebrows. You get it. But the avatars do have eyebrows. And in addition to that difference, you probably did notice, because it's creepy, that the Na'vi have just 4 fingers like a freaking cartoon character, while the avatars, having been scanned from humans, have 5. And as long as we're mired in the minutia of alien body parts, all the animals on Pandora, save for one, have 6 limbs, except for the humans, the Na'vi, and technically the Banshees. For the latter two, this might seem a bit strange. Why would only these alien beings have 4 limbs? Well, this weird monkey thing, the bilemur or the polylemur? Help me out here.
Prolemurus.
That one. Weird monkey thing, was included as a means of explaining the evolutionary link between the other animals on Pandora and the Na'vi. Look at that. Cameron's so good, he even found the missing link. Or a missing link. Whatever. Mountain banshees, the big alien bird things everyone's always riding around on, have 4 eyes. 2 of those eyes see in color, much like those of a human, while the smaller eyes see in infrared. Obviously, the latter is for hunting, which, makes sense. They're big old killer bird things. One big hurrah moment in Avatar comes when Jake mounts Toruk, this big sum gun, something few have done before. This is foreshadowed when he's picking out his first Banshee with this exchange.
How will I know if he chooses me?
He will try to kill you.
Well, it would seem that Jake has some strong plot detection in that blue noggin of his, because earlier in the film, it's Toruk who tries to unalive the crap out of him. And yeah, I see you in the comments asking why I use the term unalive. Well, it's just for you, buddy. Just for you, Nick. And hey, if you were somehow still mystified over James Cameron's political ideologies, boy howdy, you're in luck. Just look at this shot. Don't see it? Well, you might want to see an optometrist. But if we just place this sucker over, and yeah.
United States of America.
Not the most subtle set design choices in the world. Although that said, Cameron has stated that the message of the film isn't necessarily anti-war or anti-American, so much as it is pro-environment. To quote him directly, I can't do a James Cameron voice. I think there's something amazingly satisfying when the hammerheads come out of the forest and start mowing down all the bad security enforcers. Nature gets to fight back. It's death wish for environmentalists. When did nature ever get to fight back in a movie? Well, there was Frogs, several B movies, Jurassic Park, Day of the Animals, The Ruins? Was The Ruins nature fighting back, or is that just evil vines? Whatever. Actually, you know what? Now all I'm thinking about is Charles Bronson enacting his usual war on street gangs, but now he's a tree.
You believe in Jesus?
Yes, I do.
Well, you're going to meet him.
By the by, Mr. Cameron, Jim, we all know how pro-environment you are. Heck, you put the Lorax in your Cat People in Space movie. There's a handful of film references that may or may not be coincidence. In Gorillas in the Mist, Sigourney Weaver has this line,
"If he does charge, stand your ground."
which she repeats here.
Hold your ground.
Both relate to large animals charging at the characters. In Terminator Salvation, Moon Bloodgood's character delivers this line to Sam Worthington.
You have a strong heart.
And in Avatar, Neytiri says the same.
You have a strong heart.
If memory serves, though, the former does not eventually lead to Sam Worthington making sweet, sweet hair love to Moon Bloodgood, so a little different. Oh, and bonus reference, most of the animal noises in the film are taken from Jurassic Park's sound design. The use of the raptor sound, which if I remember correctly, is the sound of tortoises having sex. Was that a rumor, or is that true?
Don't play with that, you'll go blind.
Because it's a Navi penis. Oh my god, that has some weird implications for those horse things. Oh man, this movie is naughty. Speaking of naughty hair times, let's talk about Jake's hair. No, not his Avatar hair. That'll get us demonetized if we get into all those saucy details. Nah, his human hair grows out naturally throughout the film, showing us the audience time passing by within the story. Jake first arrives on Pandora on May 19th, and he goes full blue on August 24th. And if you watch carefully, you'll see that his hair grows out over that time, which actually could also be referential to him having a military background and then being kind of lured into the Navi way of life and sort of becoming more hippie-ish over time. It's like poetry, it rhymes. Dr. Grace Augustine wears this Stanford tank top when she's in her Avatar state, and it fits like a glove. This is a reference to Sigourney Weaver's actual alma mater. She got her bachelor's at Stanford after she spent like a year at Sarah Lawrence College and transferred after her freshman year. Later on, she got her Master's of Fine Arts at Yale in 1974. And fun fact, apparently a few of her acting teachers at Yale called Weaver talentless. And you know what, that energy, I'm gonna co-opt for myself whenever I read my comments section. Staying with Ellen Ripley over here for a moment, see this cigarette? It's not real. That is a CGI cigarette because Sigourney Weaver, she doesn't smoke. And so she really is just using a toothpick as a stand-in. What's more interesting here is the purpose of that cigarette. You don't see a lot of characters smoking cigarettes in modern movies, especially so prominently. In fact, at the time of release, the abundant smoking pissed off quite a few people and organizations, with the Center for Tobacco Control Research denouncing the scene where Grace just wants her damn smoke. According to Cameron, not only did the smoking serve to add realism to the character, but was also meant to be a commentary on gamer culture, the idea being that Grace only really cares about her avatar body and not her real body. And this would be analogous to the way a gamer might neglect their physical health in favor of their video game or online character. Which, you know what, actually, I'm a real fat person, plays a lot of Pokemon, so that's fair. That's totally fair. And hey, whenever you see Jake milling about in that wheelchair of his, those legs you're seeing, yeah, those are actual legs, not CGI. To achieve a certain level of realism, the production team used a cast of an actual paraplegic's atrophied legs. Sam Worthington tucked his actual legs under the wheelchair, and after a little CGI erasing of those legs, you got yourself one Jake Sully, what with atrophied legs. As far as direct connections to aliens in Avatar, during the attack on the Hometree, our big gaggle of baddies uses a gas called CS-40.
Roger, CS-40's going hot.
This name is just a hop and a skip away from the name CN-20. That's the name of the gas in Aliens that Vasquez suggests they use for their whole xenomorph infestation problem. CN, by the way, is a designation for phenyl chloride, which is an actual riot control agent and was used in tear gas. So, you know, yeah, science.
That is one big damn tree.
And yeah, while I think we can all agree Avatar isn't the deepest movie around, I'm personally pretty hyped to dive into Avatar 2. The Way of Water. Because water. It's got cool CGI water. You dive into water.